Hello and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Millie and today I'm going to be creating 2 looks and doing some swatches as well as swatch comparisons to other pastel shades I have in my collection. So this is what the outside of the palette looks like. It's got a really nice, pastel pattern on it with mermaid scales, and now I'm not going to really be able to hold this palette up because the shimmers are really fragile. I don't know if you've been watching other people's IG stories, but a lot of people have been getting this palette broken. The mattes as well. Mine, thankfully, didn't come broken, but then when I put the palette up to show my friend Audra on Marco Polo, this shade fell out, so I had to push it back in. And something else I noticed that's been really strange is that it seems like there's a lot of some sort of oil or binder in these shimmers, and so they've been leaking into the cardboard, and I've seen a lot of people either get the palette like that. I had a situation where I kind of just scooped it in and I wasn't able to press it in right away, so I waited a couple hours until I could press it in, and in the meantime some of it was touching the cardboard up here, so there's a little bit of oil that seeped in there because the shadow was laying on top of it. Now it's much less, but that's something I've been noticing consistently with this palette. I'm not really sure what's causing that, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's fine. They're still really fragile with whatever amount it is that they have in them. But first, let's talk about some of these shades. So we have 5 mattes and then 5 shimmers. The shimmers are just absolutely just so shiny. They are right up my alley. You know I love shiny and shifty eyeshadows, and some of these are a little bit shifty. They're not multi-chromes, but they're definitely at least a duochrome. Beach Please is probably one of my most favorite shades I've ever seen. Like, it's so gorgeous, so unique. It almost reminds me a little bit of a shade from Glam Shop, a totally different texture, but maybe I'm gonna have to do a comparison. And then this shade, Oh Ship and Dobie Shellfish. This palette has such funny names. I really enjoy them. These two also have like a duochrome effect. Call Me On Your Shell Phone, which is what I have on my lid paired with this shade. This one and this one have a little bit of a duochrome effect, but nothing compared to Beach Please. I mean, that one is just like so stunning. And my apologies, it looks a little bit dark behind me. It's because I don't have the string lights on. You can thank the buns for that. So let's get into the swatch comparisons, and then I'll show you how I created 3 looks with this palette, and I'll be giving you some of my thoughts in the end of the video. Now, they're not my like final thoughts, but I feel like after, I mean, there's only so many looks you can kind of create with this palette because it is a pastel palette and there are a certain amount of shimmers and mattes, and there's obviously no deepening up shades because this is supposed to just be like a pastel palette. So I'm going to give you some of my kind of between first impressions and a review kind of thoughts on this palette. All right, let's get into some swatch comparisons. So first up is You Mermaid My Day from the Klarity palette against Lunar or Later from Terra Moon. Lunar or Later is much lighter. Then there's Cheat Code from the Sugar Pill Fun Size palette, which actually was pretty deceiving in the pan. It's definitely much brighter. And Creep It Real from the Shroud Creepy Cube palette, also way brighter in terms of pastels. Next up, I'll have a Martini. So this is a new shade, but I'm just trying to save some space. So it's got a little bit of a green tinge to it. Ice Worm from the Pastel Pup Menagerie Cosmetics palette. I'm gonna add another layer to that. Similar, Ice Worm is definitely just like a little bit darker. Twitch from the Fun Size palette, way different, but in the pan they look like they might be similar, so I thought I would swatch them out for you. Take a Hint from the Creepy Cute palette from Shroud, way brighter. This doesn't even look like these two honestly from Shroud don't even look like pastels once you put them next to some of these like much lighter shades. And we have See Ya Later from Klarity against Waddle from Menagerie. Now some of these shades from the Menagerie palette tend to hard pan, so that's exactly what it just did to me. Strawberry Milk from Shroud. So none of these are close. Next up, Long Time No See from Klarity against Fishy from Menagerie. I knew when I applied that Klarity shade that it reminded me of Fishy. Is a little darker and I would say a bit more orange. Last matte shade is Fantastic. Sunbathe from Pastel Pup, way brighter. And Twilight from Terra Moons. That one looks almost neon compared to both the shades. And then the only shimmer I'm going to compare is Beach Please, because I mean, texture-wise, I don't think any of these are really going to be similar to anything. Here is Glam Shop's Tiul, T-I-U-L, and I feel like these are really similar. Glam Shop does have a bit more of a base. I'm just gonna build this Beach Please up, but it looks a little bit lighter, but it's literally exactly the same shade. So priming with the P. Louise primer in shade 0.5 because it's basically white. It is white, but I feel like once it kind of blends out into my skin, it's not that bad. In the crease, I'm going in with You Mermaid My Day. These names are just so funny. I love them. And this is the shade that doesn't look that much different from the green shade, which is I'll Have a Martini. I really wish this shade would have been just made to be a bit more blue. It's just got quite a bit of green in it, and that doesn't really want to kind of blend out. I don't know if it's the P. Louise base. I do have another base to try for the other look, so we're gonna see. Definitely a really light shade. I'm gonna put it out onto the outer corner as well, just a little bit. I'm really just so excited to put on one of the shimmers. I feel like the blend is not the best, like up here, it just doesn't really want to blend. Next I'm putting on some NYX glitter primer. And I'm putting down Beach Please, and this shade is just, I already swatched it and I was like, this is amazing. This shade is just magical, and it blends perfectly into this matte. Oh, it's so shiny. It's like, it's such a cool shade. It's got like a green, but like a teal base with purple in it. It's just magical. The second look, I'm priming with the ABH primer. Just want to try it out. Just want to try out these mattes on another base. And then for this look, I want to do like a two-tone look, so I'm gonna use Long Time No See on the inner portion. And this is so light. That's almost like my skin tone, but like slightly peachier. You can't really see it. And that's over the ABH primer. Maybe I should have primed with the P. Louise, and then going in with See Ya Later, which is this pastel pink. This one definitely has more pigmentation. And trying to get as much on there as possible. I'm actually gonna go in with Fantastic and layer it over the peach. And yeah, that's so pale. That's really pale. That doesn't even look like I have anything there. So I already layered too many shades. I'm gonna bring See Ya Later kind of further this way. I don't think my plan is going to quite work out with this look, so we're just gonna improvise. And putting on some NYX glitter primer. I'm gonna put it all over the lid. Maybe do like 2 colors or 3 colors just next to each other. Going in with Don't Be Shellfish on this inner portion. That is so pretty. This one actually fell out for me. I had to repress it. And then gonna go in with Oh Ship. I feel like this was just a little bit more orangey, so let's see it next to the yellow. Yeah, that's a little bit more orangey. But is it that distinguishable? Not really. And I washed up like this on the outer edge here. Oh, this shade is so pretty. That shade is so pretty. Okay, back to this eye. I'm gonna go in with Threshold and do a little bit of a graphic liner. Just gonna do like a wing. The liner is like a little bit dried out. I think I'm gonna have to add something to it. for next time. But it's a little dry, so it's kind of skipping. Haven't even had it for that long. So I put on the Blessed Lashes from Kiss, and on the side I have ColourPop Catsuit in my waterline, and on the side extra frosting also from ColourPop. So I'm going to finish off the side. I'm actually going in with I'll Have a Martini because I kind of want to see how these look on the eye together. And it looks maybe just a little bit more green, but you have to like really think about it. And then on the side, going in with See Ya Later, Long Time No See, and Fantastic. So here's the first finished look. And here's the second finished look. So for the third and final look, I'm going to try another eyeshadow primer. This is Beauty Bay in the shade Base 1. And I'm going to just place it like on my lid because I'm going to be blending it up. And as I blend it up, there's going to be less of like a harsh white kind of line, you know, going right under my eyebrow, even though I am really pale. So I'm taking a little bit of kind of my skin tone powder, which pretty much translates as nothing because I'm not picking up a lot, and I'm just kind of lightly tapping mostly my crease area. I did that on the side and it seemed to have worked pretty well. You can see the patch here, kind of weird right here. So I'm going in with I'll Have a Martini, going back into the greens, and I'm gonna put that right here on the inner kind of 2/3 of my crease. And I felt like it blended and it just applied better when I had set the base on the other eye, so that's why I'm doing it again. I felt like that worked pretty well. And even now, out of the 3 different bases I used, this one just seems to be the best. And then I'm going to go in with Fantastic, and I'm going to put it like above the green. I could have probably went in with this first, but you know, it is what it is. There's quite a bit of kick up in this shade. And then I'm going back in with I'll Have a Martini. And then in the outer corner, I'm going in with You Mermaid My Day. And I just really wanted to see these 2 shades together on the lid. I kind of did them in the first look, but it was on the lower lash line. So you can see like they're different, but they're not different enough. I really wish they were just pushed a little further away from looking so similar. So I'm picking that up and I'm putting it underneath my lower lash line. I'm going in with I'll Have a Martini and putting that in the center, and then a Fantastic on the inner portion. Next, I'm going in with the NYX glitter primer, and this time I have it on a brush, and I am gonna cut it just a little bit higher than my lid. This way I don't really want to like blend it like I did in the other looks. I just want it to be like more cut out there, more structured, I think is the word I'm trying to get to. I'm going in with Call Me on Your Cell Phone, and these shimmers are extremely fragile, and they're gonna get everywhere. I definitely recommend using these, doing a look before you do your base, because I have shimmers everywhere from the other look. And then going in with Don't Be Shellfish on the inner third of my lid, and bringing it up a little bit. Kind of blending it into the blue. And then gonna go back in with You Mermaid My Day and just packing that on. So here's a third finished look. So I've used all the shades. Obviously, I've only used them once or twice or 3 times. I have tried 3 different eyeshadow primers with these mattes because I do know that pastels, just like neon shades, are just notoriously harder to formulate and also use. But I would say these are not my favorite pastels by far. I definitely have had an easier time with the Pastel Pup from Menagerie Cosmetics, as well as the Creepy Cute palette from Shroud Cosmetics. These 2 shades look so similar. I really wish You Mermaid My Day, and I know I made this comment throughout the looks, but I really wish these were just a bit different. So You Mermaid My Day was more of a true blue, even though I do appreciate that they're like a little bit like almost like grungier pastels. However, in this palette, they're just too close to each other. I had a lot of trouble with Fantastic and Long Time No See, even just like seeing them on a white base on my skin tone, which is an issue. I cannot imagine how this is going to work for anybody who has a medium to deep skin tone. The shimmers are really the true star in this palette. However, I don't think that this palette is worth it just for the shimmers. It is quite a bit of a pricey palette and the pans are huge, so you're kind of stuck with these really large pans of pastels that are just not my favorite. I really love the shimmers. I really hope that the brand sells these individually and or releases some more shades in this formula because they are so stunning. They are really messy though. Just keep that in mind. You definitely don't want to put these on after you've already put on foundation. I already had my base down and I had a cream blush on, so I didn't have it set, so it will like stick and it will not move. Even when I did the first two looks without anything on my face, it was still hard to get all the sparkle off from underneath my eyelid. So these are very messy. Definitely recommend some sort of a glitter primer, glitter glue, what have you. I would absolutely not recommend putting these on without anything, unless maybe if you don't have hooded oily lids, then it might be fine and you would get more of like a sheer effect. However, keep in mind that you do run the risk of these ending up all over your face throughout the day. Now, as for the primers, I would say the Beauty Bay primer worked the best, and I set that one a little bit, and I just feel like I had a little bit better time applying these over that versus a more tacky primer. I really don't think this formula goes well with something tacky. It just kind of stuck down, didn't want to blend out. Beach Please absolutely stole my heart. I love that shade so much. I really love the rest of the shades as well, but that one just stands out to me so much. It's just absolutely stunning. These are just so sparkly and beautiful. Like I said, I really hope to see more of these from them, but these mattes do need some improvement. Now, it could be possibly that these are pastel. This is my first palette I'm trying from Klarity Cosmetics. I did also purchase the Berry Royal palette, so let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see a video on that. I know it's been like a while since it released, but I really like the color story, and so I really want to try out those mattes and see how those mattes are compared to these more pastel shades. So that's everything for this video. Let me know in the comments below if you got this palette or if you plan on getting this palette. I know that they completely sold out on the pre-order. There was a lot of hype around this palette when they first kind of showed some swatches and the palettes themselves. I think everyone is so ready for spring and summer and warm weather and just spring vibes all around. And also let me know which look was your favorite. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you subscribe. There's so much indie makeup content, lots of shiny, sparkly, and shifty eyeshadows already on my channel. You don't want to miss out. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.